What's up, everybody? It's me, Greg Miller, PlayStation editor and Smackdown vs. Raw whipping boy, here to bring you IGN Insider's simulation of Cyber Sunday. Alongside me is the one and only Nate Ahern from the Xbox team. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing great. It's so good to be here watching these giant men wrestle each other.
This one is the giant known as the Big Show. What do you know about the Big Show, Nate?
Not a lot, except for he's got a tattoo on his left. What is that tattoo of, do you think, Greg?
It is a tiger, and this is actually a funny story, because when the Big Show first got that tattoo, none of us knew what the hell it was, because they never bothered to go close up on it. So for a long time, me and my friends thought it was Kane, who was another wrestler who wrestled in a red mask.
That'd be kind of weird to get it.
Very
a
awkward,
tattoo
and that's
of another
why
man's
it was
face on your
hilarious,
arm.
we felt. I feel Big Show's one of the best-looking characters in the game this year, Nate.
He looks good. He looks good. Yeah,
He's got a really good entrance.
He looks big. And
Yeah,
he looks
definitely.
showy. I mean, he looks showy.
Big Show, you know, he's slimmed down over the years. He used to be.
What does he weigh now? I know he used to weigh like.
Ooh, it's like
he used
what,
to be, like-
475.
Yeah, I know he used to
now
be
he
over
used to be
5,
500.
yeah.
Yeah, 5 was his big thing for a while, and he looked bad. He was not good in the ring, but he's been much better lately. Definitely looks good this year.
He does. He's got a Kevin Youkilis beard going on. He's a baseball player. I don't know.
No, I don't know who that
Okay,
is.
that's
Nobody listening to this knows who that is. We only like wrestling. But here's the one and only Undertaker. Nate, how much do you know about the Undertaker?
I know, actually, the Undertaker is one of the wrestlers that I watched when I was a kid because my dad used to watch wrestling. So I actually did from back in the day with his the pallbearer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I've seen
Urn.
that.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
I know little Undertaker.
I miss Paul Bear. I don't know about you.
He died, right? Like, did he actually die, or was he put in a coffin in WWE?
I'm sure he's putting a coffin in WWE at some point. I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
I used to get a big kick out of like the hair flip, and he still does his hair flip, right? Where his like hair's down in his face, and then he flips it over his head. And he looks all
Once in a
tough,
while. I
and,
mean, he's a little bit, you know, he changes stuff
right.
now and again. But
He's moved past that a bit.
SmackDown's got.
I saw this guy. I saw him wrestle at WrestleMania a couple of years ago, and he did the whole fire thing coming out. He had the coolest entrance.
Oh yeah, he's always got a good entrance. They did a really good job again here, I think, with this one. Definitely with the torch bearers.
The pyrotechnics, as they say in the industry.
Yeah. Ooh, that was good. Well, I don't know. There's no explosions here.
That's true.
Does that count?
Well, pyrotechnics is technical, making the fire tech. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know either. I would think. Oh, whatever. Yeah. So Undertaker, here he comes. Cyber Sunday. Gonna take on the Big Show. This is a real match, obviously happening Sunday. Fans get to vote on the stipulation. Our fans chose a last man standing match. Nate, are you familiar with the rules for a last man standing?
Is it whoever's standing at the end of the match wins?
Correct.
Oh man.
Basically, it's like a technical
So you
knockout.
have to beat him unconscious until
Pretty
he's
much.
not
If
standing.
he can't get up for 10 seconds, they do the 10 counts. So 3 count, basically. So, you know,
so it's a
boxing.
10 instead of a
Except you can use weapons and sledgehammers and roll around
Sure.
outside of the ring, do whatever you want. So you got that crazy stuff happening.
He's a slow walker.
Yeah, well, he's dramatic. He's the
Walking
Undertaker.
around the city with this guy would be really annoying.
Well, in real life, come on. He'd be cool. Yeah, but Undertaker's always had a long entrance. What are you gonna do?
Is this where the fire comes out? He's gonna drop his hands and the fire comes out?
Nah, he doesn't do that. That's Kane.
Oh, that's Kane. Okay. Oh, but he had his eyes up. I like
see that? They do a really good job with these things,
thing.
trying to do as realistic as they can.
That's good. I guess that is a staple.
Yeah. Well, they do. Yeah.
A little fog there on the ring too. A little blue, a little ethereal.
There you go. There you go. Look,
that?
you're using the big words.
I know, $5 word there. Oh, 7 letters. That's big for me.
For a 2-cent production. I mean, that's not the game.
Right. Game's 5 cents.
Whoa!
Hopefully THQ isn't listening.
Here it is, Nate. This is a big deal. No one has seen this, at least on IGN.com. I'm sure somewhere somebody leaked this at one point. But
the loading screen.
This year during the load screens, you don't get just generic stuff. You get stats about the characters and what they've been doing and everything else.
Huge evolution.
Undertaker with the big old DDT here. Now, if you notice right off the bat, Nate, I'm sure you're really caught up well on everything that happens with SmackDown versus Raw. AI much more aggressive than usual.
Okay.
Running straight out at him, trying to brawl. It's definitely much better than stuff we've seen in the past. You can obviously see it here as they keep going at each other, and they're not just standing around, walking around, pacing each other, which is something we did see last year a lot, especially when we did the Insider pay-per-view last year.
I remember that actually. I was a small part of that last year.
Yeah, I remember they just bumped into each other and walked around. Much better. Another really cool feature we haven't talked about much this year, and I'm not sure if we are not supposed to, but at this point,
but whatever.
At this point, I've been talking about SmackDown for 4 months. I think I can say anything I want and get away with it. You can adjust AI levels in the game, similar to Madden or a football game. You know how you've been able to go in the past and adjust sliders and stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Now you can go in and adjust the frequency.
It's like tendencies for different moves. And
exactly,
stuff.
frequency of reversal, frequency of back reversal. The damage a finisher would do. I mean, a lot of people like the finisher to be the final thing, whereas in this game, a lot of times they have them kick out this year at least. But definitely, I mean, it's a big step up, I think, as far as AI from last year. I know last year in my review, one of the big complaints I had was that even on Legend, I felt like I just rolled everybody. Like there was never a challenge as far as someone trying to stop you. Whereas here, there is a legitimate chance that the computer can beat you, and it's also that plays a lot into its new tag team features, right? I don't know how much you followed this. That one of their big.
Not at all.
I talked to you a little bit about it when we were planning.
That doesn't mean I was listening.
Oh, Nate, you break my heart. Anyways, tag team matches this year. One of the things they had to bring around the AI was for that because they put a giant emphasis on that as far as double team moves. Your player coming, your partner coming in to break up moves. Try to do stuff like that and act as a team. And definitely with the difficulty being increased the way it has, or at least the AI's intelligence being increased the way it has, I find that tag matches are really, you have to be on top of what's happening to do it. Because with the hot tag system now, anyone can get in there pretty much, break up, and win a match if you've been worn down to the right point.
Is there any system for calling out a third guy, like having one of your buddies run out of the backstage?
Not in this one, no. I mean, in past games you've seen that before, or
right.
Seen manager interactions kind of along those lines, but not in this one, no. Obviously, Undertaker's hit him with a Tombstone Piledriver. A gigantic move. You're aware of the Tombstone Piledriver.
Sure. I think you've done it to me a couple times in the office.
Of course. Oh, yeah. I do lots of moves to you in the office. You'd be surprised. Oh, look at that. Big Show's not going to stay down. I'll tell you the truth. I hated Big Show when he first showed up.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Well, first off,
like a pawn off onto the Giant?
Well, no. I mean, he's always done well to stay away from that, and he talks about that in interviews and stuff. Like, I like the guy fine as a person or whatever, but when he first showed up, it was one of those things where he was too big, and he definitely didn't move well in the ring. He didn't have mic skills yet. He didn't have any kind of ring presence. I thought it was just one of the usual things.
Here's a big guy, let's put him in the ring.
Yeah, and that's always
ridiculously strong.
Always one of my complaints with how the WWE markets people. But I think he's definitely one of those success stories you look at of how he's evolved and what he's become in the Federation. The fact that I like watching his matches.
Who would be an example now of a guy who's not that technically sound, but is somebody that maybe the WWE is looking to develop?
To develop? Or
yeah, like an up-and-comer kind of, who's not like a little rough around the edges, but you could see being like the next big thing. Not so much the next big show, but like a big thing in wrestling.
Well, I mean, this is jumping back because he already is a huge deal, but I think John Cena is not technically sound. Yeah. Like, I don't, I don't enjoy watching John Cena. But then, I mean, he's definitely got he could come around and do it real quick. And I know a lot of the purists out there listening to this. I didn't like The Rock when he first started getting really popular. I liked him when he was a heel, fine, but when he started becoming a face and everything, I definitely didn't like it. Old School Here by The Undertaker, if you remember this. You had to remember that from your old glory days.
No,
really?
No, I don't
Walk in the
that.
ring? Oh, that's a huge thing. But when The Rock first showed up, he had like 4 moves, you know what I mean? And people went crazy for him, and it was really annoying. And I see a lot of that in Cena, but I see even more undeveloped talent. So it's one of those things where a Cena match frustrates me, but it frustrates me even more, I guess, when people really get behind him. Like, it's one of those things where he just is popped off and people love him. But now there's a huge market for people like me who cheer against him and stuff. So I'm always happy to see that.
What's the give me a little rundown of the graphics in this year's game. It doesn't look that much different from what we saw in 08. I don't know. Am I wrong? Have they done some things that I'm just not noticing?
No, I mean, definitely the way THQ I think looked at it in 2009 here was they were happy with figure that was last year or 2000. Last year's game was the first time on the PlayStation 3, so that was their first time saying, here is what we're looking for this generation of consoles and what we want the SmackDown brand to be. So I definitely think character models are sharper. They've gone through and done different stuff. Clothing, there's now alternate attires. There's been alternate attires in the past, but now we're getting for a lot of characters and stuff along those lines. But this is definitely the one where they said, we liked what we did with 2008 on a lot of fronts, and here's how we're going to expand it. That's why they added creative finisher, the new highlight reel where you can create your own, match clips thing, put them in DVD cases, add in text, stuff like that. Create a finisher, the tag match stuff. I mean, they definitely went around and said, we liked all this stuff enough to where we want to more focus on moving the game forward as far as modes and what you can do in it. So, I mean, they've redone the abilities this year. You can have up to 6 per character where, before it was you had fighting styles, which were all right, and they had their own little things to them, right? But you couldn't mix and match. Like right now, if I want to create a character and go through and do everything, I can have them remove the turnbuckle, be able to use objects, do high-flying stuff, whereas last year I would have been limited by only having 2 fighting styles. So I could have only made him dirty, I could have only made him high flyer, I could have only made him hardcore. I couldn't have mixed and matched my character progression the way I would like to. So that's definitely a little go-go plot in there, finisher. You think that'll keep the Big Show down?
Nope, I don't think so.
No?
Judging from the amount of time left we
Shut
have
up!
in the video.
People are supposed to know that you can see along.
I don't think so. What is this thing in the Undertaker by the Undertaker's health bar? Does it say signature move?
Signature move, yeah.
So does that mean he pulled off a signature move, or he can pull off a signature move?
It means that at one point his momentum bar was flashing there, saying that he could pull off his finisher move. But what he did is he stored it. So now at any point, every wrestler has 2 finishers and 2 signatures, which are just more high-powered moves that you've seen him do in the past. So at any point he can break that out if the conditions are right, which basically generally are going to have opponent be groggy in front of you, just like you want to do your finisher. That's a new touch too. I mean, you've been able to store finishers for a long time and do it similar, but now you actually get that signature move icon, and then you get the command as far as tap triangle now to hit your signature move, whereas before you'd only get it